You see, some of these messages by Sambesia are very strategic and timely because the people need some form of education, re-education, both in Yaoundé and everywhere. It's a media warfare, it's a psychological warfare, it is a military warfare. And this is quite instrumental at a time when people are still questioning why we are doing what we are doing. Barrister Besia, please.
Well, I think what Dr. Mongwa said is absolutely important. That will continue to educate our people. Talking about elections and reminding the United Nations and the world that as case is not a normal situation where we can fix it through elections in the Republic of Cameroon. I remind them once more and emphatically that if we were forced to join this people, the choice was not ours. The choice was imposed on us. And therefore, it was for the United Nations that is now pretending to have organized elections to make sure that whatever process they recommended was carried full-fledged to the end. They did not do it, and the Republic came over and occupied the territory. And Dr. Mongwa reminds them that for all the years they are there, they are occupationists, they are annexationists. They are not there by the voluntary will of Ambazonians. And so, because you cannot face the history that Ambazonia, southern Cameroon, was full-fledged a state in its own right with a government, which government the United Nations helped to dissolve it. And today, they are facing election problem. Our problem is not the elections. Our problem is our status, which status was imposed on us by United Nations, which imposed status by the United Nations was not even followed right to the end because the United Nations neglected it and abandoned the process on the way. The last resolution of the United Nations, if I remember, was on the 21st of April 1961. And since that date, up to today, even when there's war for almost 10 years, the United Nations has gone mute. And they'll be happy. And they are happy to come and assist something in Cameroon called election and say, well, let your problem be solved through the elections. Elections of in a territory where we are not legally part of it. Occupation remains occupation no matter how long it is. And so Dr. Mongo has said it many times before, we cannot take part there because if we take part in the elections, we are blessing the occupation. We are no longer resisting because our freedom will come through resistance, not submission. Elections is part of the submissions. Because if you go to vote anybody in that Republic of Cameroon, you are going to be bound by the guy's political. You cannot say, I voted you, you promised this, I cannot deliver it. No. And so that message is important. We've sung this song many more times. Yeah, and they have confirmed it themselves that they have been trying to assimilate rather than let us exist. This from them, not just Yaoundé. Yaoundé is going to confer with France to give account of the assimilation. That's a foreign nation. Yaoundé has gone through the United Nations to give account of their assimilation, which the United Nations has shamefully accepted by the idea that whatever problem you have there can be resolved within the context of Cameroon. That context of Cameroon, Dr. Mungwa reminds them, is Cameroon as of 1st January 1960. How did we become part of that Cameroon of 1st January 1960? Let them show it in documents. Because the United Nations does not deal with imagination, they deal with documentary evidence. Where is the evidence documented? We have the results of the plebiscite documented somewhere at the United Nations. We have resolution 1608 documented somewhere there. Where is the agreement that the United Nations asked that we should enter into? Make no mistake, it could never be a verbal agreement. Because in the context of 1961, I'm not sure that Frontier could even say bonjour. He never knew a word of French. I'm not sure that you could even say good morning. You never knew a word of English. So negotiation between those two types of people speaking different languages should have been documented in
Had
the
to be
official languages.
documented.
And so, thank Dr. Mongo for reminding us, not reminding us, we already know it, for reminding the United Nations and the world at large that elections, as far as we're concerned, don't solve our problem. Elections, as far as we're concerned, are not don't concern because elections in Cameroon, not even the Federal Republic of Cameroon, but in Cameroon, as of January 1st, 1960, don't concern us. That's how Cameroon got to United Nations, whose flag is flag. With that very flag, which is there, which is in 1960. Is there any change on that flag to show that we joined them? No. With that very anthem and everything they had there at the United Nations as symbols of that country, what symbolic presence is there in the Cameroon representation at the United Nations to show that it was a measure of two? And all I agree. We did not invite the United Nations to Buya for the celebration of the 50th anniversary. They came at the invitation of Yaoundé, and they came with two large maps. There was no government in exile that invited them there. What did their two maps signify? Where did they come from? They came from the ark. What did they signify? Let them answer the question for themselves. Whoever came from there with two maps was a special representative of the United Nations Secretary General. And so you cannot eat your cake and have it anymore. Again, these are symbols, these are signs that documentarily there is nothing to show Cameroon as including Ambazonia. Two maps they brought to them, to Pobia, without seeking permission from Ambazonia. And so Dr. Mungo has reminded them, let them go do the elections. We are not against elections. Just we have no reason to be against elections in Nigeria or elections in
Mhm.
Gabon or elections somewhere else. Let them do the elections. We're not part of it. Over to you.
Yes, Barrister Fru, please.
Yes, buddy. The series of editorials being produced by SOS Mongwa is intended to teach rather than inform, because we have already. I can assure you that Ambazonia has already informed the world about what is happening to us in La République de Cameroon as people boundering each other. Dr. Mongwa's editorials are so penetrating that I have friends, francophone friends in Yaoundé and Douala, who call me to talk about some of the editorials, which prick right into their consciences. It is the first time that francophones are beginning to listen to what we say, what the SOS has been saying by his editorials. There are francophones who read independentists every day, and they listen to these editorials every day. I can tell you that way and beyond the electronic media that we are joining every day, both to the home front and to the diaspora. The editorials are meant to teach to teach once and for all that this is the story of Ambazonia. I don't think we have anything to teach the United Nations. The United Nations is what it is. We have nobody who speaks for us at the United Nations. The French speak for La République du Cameroun. The French protect La République du Cameroun. The French veto anything that concerns La République du Cameroun to protect La République du Cameroun. We have nobody so far. God helping, we shall have somebody very soon. But the story I'm trying to say is that the editorials are sinking. They are sinking, and the whole world is reading. Even in the United States, people are reading and listening to these editorials being produced by SOS Mungwa, because they are produced targeting a particular issue and getting right into the hearts and minds of people who read. It's another method of fighting in the revolution. I take this opportunity to thank him for the job he's doing, and that he should continue until September, when the United Nations will be meeting, and we will see where we go from there. I'm not going to talk again about our history, because we have said it, the world has said it, Ambazonians have said it, the world is listening, now listening. They didn't used to listen to us. And what annoys some of us sometimes is stupid people standing in Bamenda endorsing a 93-year-old man for president to come and begin to take what they can take from Bamenda but keep nothing. What I'm saying is that Dr. Mongwa's editorials are timely. And every one of us should go into the habit of reading it every day. Thank you, Paddy.